It's not every day that we get to welcome 3 new manuscripts into our collection here at Wordsworth Grasmere, but today is one of those days. So here in front of me, I have 3 William Wordsworth manuscript letters, which are just newly arrived, and so we thought that we'd share these with you. So come and take a closer look. So what we have here, firstly, is a letter to Thomas De Quincey, written by William Wordsworth, but also partially in the hand of Sarah Hutchinson, who was William's sister-in-law. And at this time, William is writing and looking to publish a political pamphlet called The Convention of Cintra. And De Quincey, who's in London, has the rather unenviable task of being the go-between between Wordsworth and the printer. And so De Quincey is receiving instruction from Wordsworth by this letter telling him exactly how things must be printed. But what we also have here is a lovely personal note in the hand of Sarah Hutchinson, whose handwriting that you can see here. Because at this time in 1809, De Quincey is preparing to take over the tenancy of Dove Cottage. So the Wordsworths have left Dove Cottage and De Quincey is going to shortly be moving in. And so down at the bottom here, you can see Sarah has written De Quincey a lovely note about the orchard at Dove Cottage. And she writes that she wishes that De Quincey could see your orchard just now, for it is the most beautiful spot on earth. And you can see actually Sarah continues to finish her letter just on this little section here. In fact, she actually finishes the letter in upside down writing just here. And all of this so that she didn't have to use an additional sheet of paper and increase the cost of postage. So then if we move along, we jump ahead by quite a way. So this letter is dated from 1830. Again, it's from William Wordsworth, and it's to William Rowan Hamilton, who was a friend of the family and was a mathematician. He became friends with the family and with William Wordsworth particularly in later life. And what's interesting about this letter here is that Wordsworth is writing about his opinion on fellow writers such as Hazlitt and Byron. And Wordsworth of Hazlitt writes, who has just recently passed away, Wordsworth writes that Hazlitt is a person for whom I never had any love, but with whom I had for a short time a good deal of intimacy. I mean Hazlitt, whose death you may have seen announced in the papers. So that's Wordsworth's thoughts on Hazlitt. Seems a little cutting, if you ask me. But this sheet here would have been tucked inside this sheet, and you can see how the letter would have been folded, and you can see the wax seal remnants just there as well. And then lastly, we have another letter to Hamilton again, the same person, from 1831. And this is a really interesting letter because here Wordsworth gives us some insight into his productivity as a poet at this time in his life. So, for example, here in this letter he writes, I wish I could tell you that I had been busily employed in my own art, but I have scarcely written 100 verses during the last 12 months. But then he goes on to write, a sonnet, however, composed the day before yesterday shall be transcribed upon this sheet. And so that very sonnet composed the day before yesterday appears here. And this is in Dorothy's hand, not in William's hand. And this is the sonnet to the artist Haydn. And Dorothy has taken over the pen, and she rather funnily writes, as you, my dear friends, just in this section here, as you, my dear friends, Mr. and Miss Hamilton, may have discovered by the slight improvement in legibility of penmanship, other hands have been employed to finish this letter. So I'll leave it to you to decide whose handwriting is nicer to look at. Is it William's, who you can see here, or is it Dorothy's, who you can see has carefully written out the sonnet and has finished off the letter here? So I could say so much more about these letters, but I hope this short film has given you a sense of just how much information that can come from manuscripts like this. And we're really excited to catalogue these and research these in the coming days and weeks. And to have new acquisitions like this is just wonderful. And We must thank the Friends of the Nation's Libraries and a private donor for their generosity and help in making this happen.